Stand clear of the closing doors, please.
What is up, Mets fans? How we doing? I know you're doing good because I'm doing real good. The Mets finish off the sweep of the Phillies and a perfect 7-game homestand as they take down those scumbags from Philadelphia in extra innings by a final score of 4-3 in 10 innings. Unbelievable. This is cloud 9. This is about as high of cloud 9 as you could be on for April, at least. Okay, like, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves, but maybe just for a second, let's go. Let's go. Big W for the Mets. Man, I did not think they were going to pull this one out here today. What a wild game. I mean, you know, the Mets did everything we could have asked for them in this series, taking the first two. I mean, just bullying the Phillies, taking their lunch money on Monday and on Tuesday. They could have easily just sent this one packing for the final game, made it, you know, a travel day, a getaway day, and not really cared too much about this one. And instead, they come out and they steal one away from the Phillies. What's up, guys? I am Tony Metro. If you're new to the channel, be sure to leave this video a like and subscribe for all my latest Mets content. Wow, I gotta catch my breath for a second there. This has been such a crazy day with that game. Woo! All right, anyway, guys, I do daily Mets content, pre-game streams, post-game streams, series previews, and recaps, and so much more in between. You guys can also check me out on all the other socials down right here in my bio, TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter, where I post clips of my work throughout the week. Daily Mets content. There you go. Now you got it. Hopefully you check it out. Let's check out this game. My goodness, what a game it was. I mean, you couldn't ask for a better ending to your Wednesday afternoon, right? I don't know if anyone else was able to watch from home and work like I was, so that was great, but wow. Okay, so not a whole lot of scoring in this one to start. We knew this was going to be a tough one with Zach Wheeler up on the mound for the Phillies. Pretty decent career numbers against the Mets ever since the Wilpons essentially let him go. Thanks a lot, Fred and Jeff. And so the Mets, of all people, though, starting the scoring early with Brett Baty launching his first homer of the season. Absolute bomb, 425 feet to right field into the Pepsi porch, Coca-Cola corner, whatever they're calling it these days. So the Mets go up 2-0. Yohan Rojas would come back and 2 innings later and get an RBI knockoff of David Peterson. Trey Turner would drive in the tying run, both of those coming with 2 outs. That was pretty frustrating, but overall, pretty decent performance from Peterson today. We'll get into his numbers in a bit. And then to the 8th. 2-2. No, I'm sorry, not the 8th. The 10th, we would go. Kyle Schwarber with a man on second strikes out to Edwin Diaz, and that's when things got a little dicey. Edwin Diaz stepping off the rubber 3 straight times and automatic balk for 3 disengagements. He comes out of the game with injury with what Carlos Mendoza is now calling a hip cramp. He was cramping in his hip. I mean, he couldn't stop cramping in his hip, and that's why he did that. We come back from the break, and the umpires actually take second base away from Nick Castellanos, which, in my opinion, was totally bogus. I couldn't believe they did that. Look, he stepped off the rubber 3 times, whether it was because of injury or not. They made the call on the field, so I got to side with the Phillies on that one. I thought that was bogus, but I'm not going to complain about it as a Mets fan. Max Kranick pressed into service with a man on first now. He walks the next guy, first and second, gets an out, but then gives up another base hit. Bases loaded, Kranick bears down, gets out of the inning unscathed. Just the 1 run that Diaz gave up, and the Mets go to the bottom of the 10th with the ghost runner at second. Juan Soto grounding out to the right side. That puts Lindor at third, and then Pete Alonso poking a ball into right center field with 2 strikes. I got to say, that ball off the bat did not look like it was going all the way to the wall over the head of Rojas in center field. Pete got way more of that than I thought he did. It ends up being the game-tying double to put him at second. And then with 2 outs, it's the hero of the day, Starling Marte, getting the walk-off base hit, just punching this one past the outreach glove of Bryson Stott up the middle and into center field as the Mets win their 7th consecutive game. They move 5 games over the Phillies in the National League East and cap a perfect 7-game homestand. Guys, welcome to the stream. I appreciate you guys hopping in. If you guys are new, like I said, be sure to subscribe, give this video a like. Tell me, what was your favorite moment from this game? Was it Starling Marte's walk-off? Was it Pete Alonso's game-tying double? Or was it Juan Soto's essentially game-saving throw to get Nick Castellanos at the plate? Something I omitted there from my highlights. You can see it right over here on the box, though. Clutch throw from Juan Soto, who still is not hitting all too great. He had one knock in this one, but not exactly doing what we were expecting from Juan Soto at the plate. Despite that, huge throw to get the outfield assist, nab Castellanos at the plate. And how about the play by Hayden Sanger, too? Going to his left, back toward the plate, blocking Castellanos' hand from getting in and just barely tagging applying the tag to his left knee to get him out. That would send the game to the ninth and keep it tied. So what a job from the Mets all around. Pitching, defense, the offense left a little bit to be desired, I won't lie, but they did what they needed to do when it counted the most. So Mets win 4-3. Another win in the books. Five over the Phillies now in the National League East. Again, it's very early. Okay, we can't get too hyped. Maybe just for this stream we will. But after that, tomorrow, the Mets are off. We need to get back. We need to regroup and realize it's only April. There's a long way to go still. Only about 137 of these left. So, we got to be very careful about how exuberant we get. Let's go through it, though. David Peterson took the mound, and not a terrible start by any means. Not a great one either. He's coming off his previous one against St. Louis. We went 5 innings, gave up 3 earned runs. Today, Peterson worked into the 6th. He ends up with a line of 5 1/3 innings pitched. He gives up 8 hits, 2 runs, just 1 walk, and only strikes out 2. His ERA now for the season sits at 3.29. There were a couple of dinks and dimes in there from the Phillies today, and there were also a couple hard hit balls. 8 hits against. Anytime that happens, it's going to be tough to overcome. It was the same thing for Griffin Canning last night, who didn't walk anybody, but he did give up 8 hits as well. This Phillies lineup can still put the ball in play and can hit. So it was a shorter outing than we probably would have liked from Peterson, but still 5 1/3 working into the 6th. Very solid, and the Mets starters continue to deliver. That is now 12 consecutive starts from the Mets without giving up a home run. I mean, the Phillies didn't hit a home run in this series, period, at all, against any Mets pitching. Not a single home run from this vaunted, dangerous Phillies lineup. So the Mets pitching from top to bottom, starting rotation to the bullpen, once again getting an A+ for this entire series, and again here today. Oscar Brazaban would come in to clean up the 6th inning for Peterson. He would get the final 2 outs of that one, and then record the first out of the 7th inning. So a perfect full inning of work from Oscar Brazaban, who continues to be terrific. And then Danny Young comes in the 8th inning with Bryce Harper and Kyle Schwarber up. That was in the 7th, actually. Excuse me. But still, regardless, the point stands. Kyle Schwarber and Bryce Harper, and he strikes out both of them. Danny Young with a solid performance today, striking out both of those guys for his only 2 outs of the afternoon. That was awesome to see. I mean, I can't say I was sweating at all, but maybe just a little bit. I was a little worried. I'm not going to lie to you. But Danny Young doing the job here for the Mets this afternoon. And then after Danny Young, the Mets handed the ball over to Jose Butto, and that is when things got a little sticky there in the 8th inning. Butto ends up with a line, 1 inning, 1 hit, but he walks 2 guys. He gets a strikeout, of course, as well, but that was a very troubling inning. He walks the leadoff batter in that one. Let me pull it up so I can tell you exactly how it went down. We can recap it here real quick. Wow, what a win, though, man. I can't. Oof, that was crazy. That was nuts. I did not think the Mets had any business winning that game. Not that they played poorly, but again, final game of a 7-game homestand, getaway day. They're going to be traveling to Washington now for their 3-game series, beginning with the Nationals on Friday. I figured Zach Wheeler's on the bump for the Phillies. Like, the Mets had every reason not to show up at all today, and they obviously did. They pulled this one out in 10 innings. They could have easily just been like, we did our job. We got 2 out of 3 instead, finishing off the sweep. So let's get back to this 8th inning. Leadoff walk there for someone on the Phillies from Jose Butto. JT Realmuto would strike out, but then Max Kepler with a single into right field. And thank God for Juan Soto's arm. He fields it perfectly on a hop. The throw to home in time to get Nick Castellanos, nab the potential go-ahead run in the 8th. just barely. And then we actually saw that the Phillies manager, Rob Thompson, tried to challenge the call, but apparently, according to the SNY booth, took too long. They say you get about 15 seconds as a manager to do this, as in you want to challenge a call. He apparently took 20 seconds, according to the SNY booth. So he was denied that call. It looked like even on replay that Sanger did tag Castellanos before he touched the plate. There was no definitive replay that I saw, at least, that would have led me to believe it would have been overturned. So not a great outing from Butteau. I will say that. He has looked shaky this year, I got to say. And that's a little frustrating because he's making my predictions look wrong. My preseason prediction, one of them, Jose Butteau, will be one of the top relievers in all of baseball by the end of 2025. So far, that is not looking so good at all. Butteau is now got a 2.51 ERA, which is still pretty solid. But if you're actually watching the games that he's pitching in, he really has not been shut down. He's kind of eaten a lot of innings where, he's been able to close out a game in the ninth late with a couple run lead or go 2-3 innings while the Mets are trailing or up by one, but hasn't really been that shut down guy in a big key moment. So something to keep an eye on. Edwin Diaz's final line here before leaving with the hip cramp that he was having. Yeah, left hip cramp is what they're calling it right now on SNY. Let's see what he's saying. He says he doesn't think he's going to need any imaging. All right, so that's great news. Obviously, we don't want to see Diaz go down. He finishes 1 1/3 innings, so he records 4 outs, gives up a hit. That hit being after his first balk, it was not a balk. It was actually Bryce Harper stealing third as the ghost runner on second base. Diaz not paying attention to him and looking him back on the mound. Harper steals third. That forces the infield in, and then Castellanos gets his lone hit of the series through the infield that was in just past the diving Mark Vientos, and that would put the Phillies up 3-2. I thought Diaz actually looked pretty good control-wise, had good bite on his slider. The command definitely looked like it was there on the fastball as well. Obviously, something physically was not right with him as far as that cramp. I don't know exactly what the temperature looked like there in New York. It looked pretty warm, but I don't think hot enough he'd cramp. So maybe just didn't stretch and maybe did not hydrate enough. Hopefully it is not something serious. Obviously, having an off day tomorrow will be big for him. But I thought the actual pitching from Diaz prior to that looked pretty solid. I was feeling very confident he was going to escape that 10th inning without allowing a run before the Harper steal. After that, I was thinking, well, okay, all bets are off now. Things change. But Max Kranick, like I said, pressed into service there after Diaz leaves with the injury, and that is such a tough position to be in, especially after he pitched 2 innings plus on Monday, essentially 3 innings when you really think about it, because he pitched the 7th, the 8th, and then at least 15 pitches in the 9th when the Phillies started mounting that rally against the Mets. For him to come back here today when Mendoza himself said after the game that they were completely avoiding Kranick today if they could, that's just, that's balls. That's huevos right there, man. That is so freaking sick from Max Kranick to go out there and get 2 huge outs. It wasn't perfect, don't get me wrong. Ends up giving up a walk and then a base hit, but able to get a fly out and then a ground out to end the inning with just the 1 run scoring off of Diaz and keep it a 1-run game. And we all know, extra innings with the ghost runner rule, if you're the away team, you need to be playing for 2. You need to score at least 2 runs. I feel confident when the Mets score 3 on the road, not even 2, but they only get 1 because the Phillies are not a fundamentally sound team, as I've been saying throughout this entire series. They couldn't get the runner home. I will say, granted, the whole idea that the umpires put Castellanos back on first after the Diaz balk when he was leaving for injury, I will say that was kind of BS. I do believe he should have remained on second, injury or not. He disengaged 3 times. I will give you that, Phillies fans. But still, they had a couple opportunities with a runner at third, less than 2 outs, couldn't get him home. That's what bad teams do. So whatever, not my problem. Mets take home the W, but overall, another solid pitching performance from the Mets, not only today, but throughout this series. 3 quality starts from Tyler McGill on Monday, from Griffin Canning yesterday, and from David Peterson today, and the bullpen just continues to get the job done. We didn't even use our A relievers today. No A.J. Minter, no Ryan Stanek, no Reed Garrett, so awesome job from the Mets bullpen to neutralize this Philly offense. Let's take a look at the bats here today. What did we do here? And guys, if you are still watching, I appreciate it so much. Hey, what's up, Jonathan? How you doing? Sweet, best record in baseball, crushing rivals. Hell yeah, my man. What's up, champ? You get your broom yet? Yo, it's coming in the mail. I got my dustpan over here. I don't think it would be quite the same effect, but the brooms should be coming because that's back-to-back sweeps. This is the third sweep now that the Mets have had this year, if I'm not mistaken. We had the one against the Blue Jays in the home weekend opener. We had the one against the Cardinals, obviously, on this homestand. And then we had this one just now against the Phillies. So I'm pretty sure those are all the sweeps we've had so far, which is solid. And look, I'm not greedy, man. I just want 2 out of 3 every series. 3 out of 4 if you could do it. If you could sweep, though, I mean, man, the more the merrier. That's just gravy right there. Appreciate you guys checking in, D-Rels and Jonathan. What was your guys' big takeaway from this series? Mine is that the Phillies are not a very good team, okay? And that can change. It's only April. But based on what I saw in these 3 games, the Mets look light years ahead of where the Phillies are, and they're fully healthy for the most part outside of Ranger Suarez. The Mets are not even close, and it sounded like we're only going to get healthier now. Jeff McNeil and Francisco Alvarez both expected to be back on Friday for that Washington series, so that's really exciting. Jonathan, my man, appreciate you, my guy. So let's go over to the lineup now, see how things went. Lindor, I mean, what can you say? Another 2-hit game. No April showers for him this year. 2 for 4, a walk, a 309 average now on the year. His OPS is up to 869. The dude's having a great year. I mean, it's early, but it's been awesome. Soto, 1 for 4, a walk and a strikeout. That batting average down to 233. OPS is below 800. So I hope it turns around. I really do. Pete Alonso, 1 for 5, but a big 1 for 5. That game-tying double into right center field. So that's his own lone RBI there. Nimmo, another 0 for. And, you know, if there's 2 guys that you got to be the most worried about in this lineup, it's clearly Juan Soto and Brandon Nimmo. Brandon Nimmo's batting average now drops to 196. You gotta think about moving him in the lineup. I don't really like Nimmo hitting cleanup. I never have. He's changed his approach over the last couple of years from being that OBP guy that, sprays the ball and, draws his walks to kind of fastball hunting, trying to, attack pitchers and hit the ball out of the ballpark. And right now it's just not working. So I would probably drop Nimmo maybe to the 6th spot or something like that. I'm not messing with him in the 2-hole because that's Soto's spot. He likes it there. And I'm not messing with Lindor in the leadoff spot. So I think the next best spot you could put Nimmo at this point is probably down at 6. Mark Vientos, 1 for 5, a base knock today, but 3 Ks. That was pretty tough. Obviously, Brett Beatty with the 2-run homer. Good for Brett Beatty. I've already said it before. I don't think there's any chance that he or Luis Angel Acuna will be getting sent down Friday when McNeil and Alvarez come up. Clearly, Sanger's going to go down for Alvarez. And then with McNeil coming up and getting reps in center field, I think the Mets' plan is to do Tyrone Taylor, of course, the majority of starts and time in center field with Luis Angel Acuna and Jeff McNeil getting some time out there as well. And obviously Brandon Nimmo, of course, can do it himself. So I believe it'll be Jose Azocar that will be sent down. But good for Brett Beatty, getting one up on the board for him. Tyrone Taylor, 0 for 4 Ks. The golden sombrero for Tyrone Taylor. That's tough. That is pretty tough. Hopefully he just continues to play good defense. Before this game, I thought he was swinging the bat a lot better. But obviously 4 strikeouts and 4 at-bats, not ideal for Tyrone. Acuna, 1 for 2. He came in to pinch hit for Beatty in the 7th. He got a base hit and ended up in scoring position there in the 9th inning, but couldn't come around. Lindor grounding out to end that one. And then Hayden Sanger 0 for 3. Luis Torrens with a 2-out, 2-strike knock. He went 1 for 1. And, of course, the biggest hit of the day, Starling Marte in his lone pinch hitting appearance for the Mets, he had 2 at-bats today, 1 for 2, and, of course, the biggest hit, though, the base hit up the middle. It's been a struggle for Marte. He's hitting just 186 on the year. The OPS is down below 600. He's not playing consistently. He's said it many times how much of an adjustment and how difficult it has been not being an everyday player. And, honestly, he's been on the short side of the platoon as far as him and Jesse Winker playing, obviously, with more right-handers than facing left-handers. But for Starling Marte to come through, for the team to go and rush him on the field like that, try to give him the Gatorade bath. I saw that he avoided it on the SMY broadcast. It speaks volumes about this team. Even though Marte's not playing every day like he used to, clearly he's trying his best, and for him to get this, I think will just be huge for his mentality and his psyche, and for the team to embrace him the way that they did. I mean, the vibes are high. The vibes are high. This is a close-knit group, and I'm really pumped about it. It's really fun to watch so far. So really, really great win for the Mets as they finish off the sweep of the Phillies. Let's take a look at the upcoming series. The Mets swing the big bats. That's right, Jonathan. They do. I mean, they're still leaving a little bit to be desired. 4 runs today, 5 yesterday, 5 on Monday. A lot of that coming from Lindor and Alonso, obviously. So, it'd be nice to see like Soto break out like I've been talking about so much, but eventually it'll come around. I think getting Francisco Alvarez will help a little bit, although, Luis Torrens has held his own, not so much in the power department, but hopefully Alvarez can deliver on that. And then even maybe Jeff McNeil. I mean, it can't be worse than having Jose Azocar, who's not played a whole lot, and it also will probably eat into some of Tyrone Taylor's at-bats, who really just hasn't been so great, if I'm being totally honest, on with the bat. So we shall see. But let's take a look now at Friday's upcoming game against the Nationals. It'll be Kodai Senga making his 5th start of the year, 3-1, a league-leading best 0.79 ERA, 20 strikeouts so far on the season, and the Nationals have not yet named their starting pitcher. They are 4th in the NL East. They are 10-13, 3 games under 500, but that young core is starting to come together. We know all about what's his name, the left fielder, the guy. No, what's his name? James Wood. The dude can hit. Is it James Wood? Yeah, James Wood. That dude can hit. So far this year, 253 average, 7 homers, 17 RBIs, but a 902 OPS. That kid looks like he's going to be a stud. They're starting to get some production out of that young catcher they acquired from the Dodgers a few years ago for Max Scherzer and Trea Turner. His name is Keibert Ruiz. Looks like he's starting to put it together. They also have Dylan Cruz out in left field, who's a really solid player and he's actually a right fielder, but supposed to be a highly regarded prospect. So far hasn't really gone so great. Only a 189 average for Cruz to this point, but he's been coming around lately. So it'll be a fun series to watch. I fully expect the Mets could take 2 out of 3. They'll have Kodai Senga obviously on Friday. Saturday, it should be Clay Holmes, and then on Sunday, it will be Tyler McGill again. So, I mean, you look at anybody in this starting rotation and you got a chance to win if you're the Mets. I mean, the rotation has just been unbelievable, getting the job done, the bullpen backing them up, and now the offense hopefully coming around. It'll be weird to see the Mets not playing at Citi Field after these last 7 days. They have been awesome. 7 straight wins, only the second 7-game or more homestand the Mets have ever been perfect on. They had a 10-0 homestand in April in 2015, if you remember. That was a pretty good year as well, right? So let's see if this turns into as magical of a ride as that season did. Guys, like I said, be sure to leave this video a like, leave this video a comment. What was your favorite part of this series and overall from this homestand over the last 7 days? The Mets will finally get a day off tomorrow, and I, as a fan, am actually okay with that. I need to spend a little more time with some loved ones and not just watching the Mets and making streams. But I will have a pre-series preview of the Mets and Nationals coming out tomorrow, plus all the other stuff I'll put out on TikTok, Instagram, and Twitter. So be sure to follow me on all those platforms, all here down in the bio right below me. So guys, I appreciate it so much. Thank you for watching. That's going to be it for right now. But again, be sure to check in for that video tomorrow. Mets Nationals preview coming up Friday as we get ready to watch your first place 18-7, 11 games over 500 New York Mets take on the Nats. That'll do it for right now. I'm Tony Metro. Till then, stay true to the orange and blue.